To do it in 20 minutes, what God has done for me wouldn't do it justice. So I'll abbreviate and I will keep it short and to the time. When I was in my ego state, in my state of loss, in the state of darkness, I believed that I was in charge of me. I was in charge of what I was doing. I believe in my capability of making things happen. I knew there was a God inside. I knew there was a spirit. I heard the inner voice speaking to me on several occasions about stuff. Out of love, I'm a Cancerian, I'm quite sensitive, and out of love, I went down the Eros road. I worked at English National Opera for 18 years, and I got fired one year for basically being black. That was kind of a shock to my system. Anyway, I'm not the person that carries stigma, so I took them to court and I won unfair dismissal. Between the times of being fired and going to court, there was a null period. I was on the road for a year. I then took up with the local community of hoodlums working on a door, and in that particular instance, we carried firearms. I knew firearms are wrong, so it's not a thing where I didn't know what I was doing. I took full responsibility for my actions. In the community, we live down the road in Brixton. It's after certain hours at night, the door persons, security, bouncers, we get all manner of people coming to the clubs. And when they turn up, they may be on sniff, crack, whatever, and they tend to want to get in the club free, or if they have a grievance with someone in the club, they usually bring a gun. My job was to search and identify these perpetrators and ask them to leave the venue, or one of my colleagues with a gun would go and speak to them and they will disperse the situation. I worked my way up very quickly from a door person to a manager in charge of the whole night. Subsequently, I carried the guns back and forth to the venue. I am not the person to fire firearms or anybody. I don't have that heart. But people with me who worked were. That's how the door is run. Unless you have a firearm on the door, people will come with firearms to the club and barge their way past you and get in. So basically, you have to defend the door. So that was where I was then. This all happened at the church, which was quite horrendous. I battled with my conscience constantly as I'm on, God's ground, and there is all manner of drugs, all manner of gunfight, all manner of people making money, including the church. The church also allowed the person to allow the club night to happen there. So, it's a partnership. The community knew about it, the police knew about it. They stood across in a flat and they filmed us, all the disperse, all the gunfight. They knew about it all, but they allowed it to happen because they felt that being there, they would be able to control the situation. From my personal perspective, I found it kind of difficult. I protected people. I wasn't there in a state of harm. I was there in a state of protection. But while I was protecting others, I was doing errors. I was walking down the wrong route. One of the guys that worked with me, who deals with the firearms, he got arrested for something on the road, and he grasped me up. I didn't know this, so I carried on doing what I was doing. And one night I was coming out Stockwell Park Estate. The police surrounded the estate like an hour before. I was going back and forth with my kids in the vehicle all day. I didn't notice them. And being large and in charge, you never notice. You never think anything's going to happen to you. And I worked with them, and I was carrying the guns, going to work, and they hard stopped me. When I'm in hard stop, they shot the car to pieces. They shot the tires out. There was smoke. There was chaos. My heart was beating. I pissed myself. I came out the car, there was nothing but red dots like you see in the movie all over my head, all over my chest. I was shaking, and somebody came and kicked me to the ground, put a gun to my head. Where are the guns, they asked. I told them it was in the car, under the seat, in 2 bags, in 2 sockses. That's the way they were. I never handled them, I just took them back and forth. So they got me up, they put me in the plastic handcuffs behind my back. The whole community came out to see, and it was quite something. It was a moment where I looked up and I knew there was a God. I could have been dead. There was gunshots through the windows, the tires with big holes in them, the whole vehicle looked like it'd been through World War II, and I came out alive. That's the first point I said, oh, thank you, God. That's the first person I thanked. That's the first person I thought about. I then had a flashback to what I'd done 5–10 minutes before, and I remembered kissing my 2-year-old daughter and putting her back on the bed. I remembered saying bye to the rest of my kids and leaving them in a loving environment, and here I was being in a violent environment, going to prison. I knew I was gone. I had 2 guns on me. There was no looking back. I didn't ask for bail or anything like that. They took me to the police station, but the point I'm about to make, transformation takes place inside first, and if you're conscious enough and you know yourself well enough, you will know it. I got into the station and I felt the greatest relief to be arrested. I found that so freeing. The burden of sin, I didn't know what I was doing to myself. I didn't know the pressure I was putting myself under, carrying firearms back and forth. But when I got arrested and I was in that police station, Brixton Police Station, I just felt so relieved. I felt it's over, it's done. It's no longer a route I need to be on. I then gave a statement, etc., the usual routine, and I was sent to Brixton Prison.